Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today is Monday Night Raw review, the episode of August 9, 2021. So I took last week's review off for both Raw and SmackDown, and I am back this week. I just need a little break, even though it's after like two reviews I've done for 2 weeks, but last week's Raw was terrible. That is the reason why I did not do a review. So then it just made me so down for SmackDown. I didn't do a review for SmackDown as well. But let's start with the Monday Night Raw review for August 9, 2021. We start things off with Randy Orton, and my God, it is so good to see him again. One of my all-time favorites. And he comes out and he says, I guess this is where I'm supposed to say, welcome to Monday Night Raw. And then Matt Riddle comes out and Riddle says, Randy, I missed you so much, bro. Where did you go? We can team again. Randy says, what makes you think I want to team with you again? And then Randy says he works better by himself, which in all honesty, it is true. And then Riddle says, does that mean you don't want to be a tag team anymore? And Randy says, we were. Keyword were, past tense of a good tag team. And that's when AJ Styles and Almas come out, and Styles says, this is embarrassing. Styles says to Riddle, don't you know who you are talking to? And he was obviously referring to Orton. And then Styles goes to say he has a couple of nicknames, the Viper, the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer. And then Randy tells Styles to shut his mouth. Styles says, since you're solo, fight with me tonight. Randy accepts the challenge. And then after Randy says he will give us a spoiler on how he will beat Styles with the 3 most destructive letters in all of sports entertainment, RKO. And then Orton tries to hit the RKO on Styles, and Styles leaves the ring, almost had his back turned around on Orton, and he was looking for the RKO and almost turned around and threw Randy out of the ring. And that's when Almost had his back turned to Riddle, and Riddle tried to hit Almost with the RKO, but Almost chokeslammed Riddle, and Riddle rolls to the outside, and Orton says, that wasn't so smart, and proceeds to walk off backstage. Wow, that was a lot of Orton, Riddle, Styles, but that was an amazing way to start off Monday Night Raw. And then we had a Baron Corbin backstage promo, and when I saw Baron Corbin on my screen, I'm like, you know what? I don't like the brand-to-brand invitation or the wildcard rule, whatever you want to call it, but Baron Corbin is killing this gimmick. I've said it before. I love this gimmick. And he says he needs the money. He lost everything. The crown he lost. The car repossessed. House repossessed. Wife took the children. I'm basically homeless. Corbin says he's desperate. And that's when we have Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin. In the final stages of the match, Drew McIntyre was aiming for his Claymore. And then that's when Baron Corbin begs to Drew not to Claymore him. Drew says, Corbin is pathetic. You know, he grabs the mic during the middle of the match and he says Corbin is pathetic, but he is starting to feel bad for him. Drew asks Corbin how much money he needs to get through a couple of days. And Corbin says $100,000, and Drew starts laughing and says, what about $200,000? Even better, $300,000. And then Claymore's like 3, 2, 1, and he gets Claymored. Drew wins the match, and then that's when Jinder Mahal comes out with Veer and Shanky, I think the names are. And then Drew grabbed his sword, and that was that. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam. And I love Baron Corbin's new gimmick. He's doing an amazing job, and that was that. And then we have Randy Orton walking backstage, and that's when Riddle comes up to him in the scooter and says, we can be friends. Riddle says he bought Randy a scooter, it's in the mail. And Riddle asks Orton if he can be at ringside with him for his match against Styles, since Styles will have Omos at ringside. You know, it does make sense. And Riddle says, you can't be that serious, bro. Because, Orton wasn't giving him a response. And then Orton says, I am serious and don't call me bro, and walked away. This is by far my favorite part of Monday Night Raw. That's why I'm so glad to see Orton back, and we're obviously going to get Orton and Riddle versus AJ Styles and Omos at SummerSlam. And I don't know, this is a long time since a tag team rival has felt this good. Like, can you tell me the last time a tag team main evented an episode of Raw or SmackDown? A tag team rivalry has never felt this good, and I like it. Now let's go on to a couple of matches here. Jeff Hardy versus Karrion Kross, and Karrion Kross won this match, and I'm just confused because apparently the storyline was Karrion Kross would keep losing until that's when Scarlett comes and pretty much, she helps him go through whatever it was and he goes on a massive winning streak, but then he wins today. So I don't know what's happening with Karrion Kross. I don't know what's going on with Scarlett, but either way, Karrion won, and that was that. Then we had Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop, and I'm actually going to be honest, Alexa Bliss is a theme song. Low-key slaps. It's actually pretty good. But right before the match started, or I think right when the bell rang, we got We Want Wyatt chants, which is honestly amazing. I want this to be like a weekly thing. We saw that in Chicago. I thought it was going to be a one-off just because, Chicago's crowd is very loud and, they will speak. But we got We Want Wyatt chants, which makes sense because Alexa Bliss is in the ring. Alexa Bliss, kind of stole Bray Wyatt's character. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying the creative team did. And then during the match, Lily the doll. This is a terrible storyline, man. Lily winked, which caused a distraction, and Alexa rolled up Doudrop for the win. Like, come on. A doll. A doll. Are we serious? Are we actually serious? That's enough of this. Then we had Sheamus versus Ricochet, which Sheamus won. And then Priest comes out, and Damian Priest and Sheamus have a face-to-face, obviously teasing for their match at SummerSlam. And then we had Priest versus John Morrison, which Damian Priest won. After the match, Priest goes to Miz and, kind of slowly, not attacks him, but walks up to him. And then Miz starts yelling at Priest, saying, "No, Priest." And then the Miz gets up from the wheelchair and runs to the back, which means the Miz is medically cleared to compete. And, I actually love the Miz. And then that's when Sheamus comes out and Damian Priest challenges, or that's when Sheamus comes out and Damian Priest challenges Sheamus at SummerSlam, and Sheamus accepts. I cannot wait for this match, actually. I'm slowly becoming a huge fan of Damian Priest, and I want Damian Priest to win the U.S. title. He's good on the mic, good in the ring, and I'm a huge fan of Damian Priest, so I'll be looking forward to that match as well. And then we are backstage. Mansoor gives Ali a jacket for his mistake he made last week, and Ali says, "You don't need to apologize. Just watch me tonight." And that's when we got T-Bar versus Ali, which T-Bar actually won. And then T-Bar and Mace were going to go for the double chokeslam to Ali. And that's when Mansoor took out both Mace and T-Bar to save Ali. And you know what? I actually dig the tag team of Mansoor and Ali. I actually really like this tag team. And yeah, just positive things so far from Monday Night Raw, which is very weird. Alright, now I know I just talked about the positive, but this was another negative on Monday Night Raw. MVP and the Bobby Lashley promo. Now, is it just me, or this promo just dragged on and really nothing was, really necessary to say? This was literally the same promo we got 2 weeks ago. MVP says Goldberg, he says to Goldberg, "Don't bring your son to SummerSlam." And then Bobby literally says the exact same thing. And then the only difference he said was he will end Goldberg's career, which they said all the time. But this promo was way longer than that. This was at least a 10-minute promo. Just nothing. This and the Alexa Bliss was the only down part of Raw. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Nikki ASH, which Charlotte Flair interferes in the match and attacks both Nikki and Rhea and holds the title, and that's it about that. And then we had an Elias package. Elias was holding his guitar and looking at a campfire. And then he looked at his guitar, looked back at the campfire, looked at his guitar, and then threw his guitar in the fire. And he says, "Elias is dead." Now, I am shocked. I really am shocked. Elias, I don't know how long he's been in the WWE for, but he's always had the same character, which works. But I'm curious to see what change is going to happen to Elias. A new name maybe, because he did say Elias is dead. Maybe just a persona, his character is dead, obviously, because he burnt his guitar. But I am very curious. Now, I don't know why you would make a new character when the crowds are back. That's Elias's whole character, is to, work with the crowd, to get them to boo you. Shouldn't you have done this in the Thunderdome? Because there was no crowd. Elias's character didn't make any sense in the Thunderdome because there's no live crowd. But either way, I cannot wait for this new character, what we're getting in Elias. And let's head to the main event. The main event of Monday Night Raw was Randy versus AJ Styles. During the match, Omos drags Styles away so Orton doesn't RKO him. That's when Riddle comes out of nowhere and pushes Omos into the post, and Riddle jumps on Omos' back. But then Omos runs to the other post, and Riddle hits the post and goes down. Styles jumps off the ropes, and Randy hits Styles with the catching RKO with the 1-2-3 win. And then Randy is mad because Riddle helped him. And Randy tells Riddle to go away and leaves the ring. Orton left the ring. And then Riddle goes up to Randy and says, listen to the fans. Randy comes back in the ring and they hug and celebrate until Randy hits Riddle with the RKO. And that is your Monday Night Raw. Like I said, a way better episode than what it was last week. A lot of matches I'm looking forward to at SummerSlam. I mean, a lot. And yeah, tell me what you guys think of the review, and peace.